When the outdated tactics get left behind, it's time we stop. Marketers look around when your ranking's going down.
Let me bring up an example here. Let's say I've got, Jim's microphone site. And if I have 500 different microphones in 5 categories, there's nothing really too exciting about my website. So,
Right.
I guess if I can write content, maybe it's, the best 500 microphones ranked,
Mhm.
or, some kind of big chart or something where it would be interesting, useful, and can convert. That's great.
Yep.
But I guess in my view, I also might write some stuff for other purposes, for other signals. So let's say it's the microphone site. Maybe I'll write something about,
Repairing a microphone.
or even some like, what did all the most famous rock and roll singers
Yeah.
use for a microphone, or
Yeah.
what is the science behind their microphone? Who invented the microphone?
Mhm.
Some kind of content to ideally get a little bit of buzz and to show additional expertise about microphones. And some of it may not convert, but I guess, there's all different types of content. Of course, I want expert content. I want content to convert. That's almost my biggest goal. But in order to get the content to convert, if I have a microphone site, I have to have some kind of value add. I can't just be a microphone site.
Right.
I need that expert content. I need stuff that people will talk about my site. I hesitate to use the word link bait, but I need to do something to get people talking about the.
Right. You have to attract people. You have to be interesting to people. I mean, look, we can call it link bait. It's been around long before we were calling things link bait. It's about attracting attention.
Yeah.
You don't do it, you don't sell the product.
Exactly. So I think a lot of, I think at Ninjas, there's all different types of content, right? There's all sorts of buckets. And some of the bucket is, we need to also get signals to the site. So we're also going to write this as well as, around microphones. Of course, we're going to do all the keyword research and all that. But yeah, I guess there's different. The best kind of content is going to be the kind of content which is going to spread, go viral, and convert. No doubt about that.
Right. Absolutely. I personally, my guidance to every business that I come across that I work with is, look, your content needs to be useful, and not because you think it's useful. I worked once with a credit card company, and it was so extremely hard to get them to understand that just because they wrote it didn't mean it was good. Everything they did, they went old school keyword research, they bucketed it by volume against a topic, and then they wrote keyword based, literally keyword stuffed content, not stuffed in a bad way, but it was just not natural. It's not how we would talk about it. And they went down through it, and they were like this level of density, and they wanted this, and they wanted this, and they wanted this, and everything. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't how people looking for credit cards are going for. Do you realize? I said to them, do you understand what Credit Karma is? And they were like, oh, well, they get your credit score and blah, blah, blah. I said, no, it's a lead gen site. The giveaway is your credit score. That is the hook. I come in to see my credit score, to watch it, and it's useful, don't get me wrong, but that's the friggin' hook. Because then when I go into the app, everything is, you qualify for this credit card. This would be a perfect credit card for you. And you should move all your debt over to this credit card here. Would you like to pay off your Jeep and put it on this credit card? And I'm just like, that's the reality of what Credit Karma is. And you've got 2 generations now of people who are looking at apps on their phone for solutions, not searching on Google for that solution. So you want to create content. Look, you got to be written word, you got to be spoken word, because years ago, you guys will know this, years ago, I was like, TikTok, 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 everybody got to be on TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. And it turns out you got to be on TikTok now. But beyond that, we've got all of these other areas now that are like TikTok, but audio only. And those are exploding. There's a whole new generation of people who only want that. They don't care about the visuals. They just want the audio, play it in the background, short things over and over again. So how are you going to play in that for content? What are you doing on YouTube? What are you doing on Instagram? Everybody's got a space, and you cannot just pick and choose. That's failure today.
Yep. I think video is another area which
Oh, it's
is
huge.
often neglected by people as well, where we're
Tragically.
often looking at some of their pages and being like, why don't you add a video to this page that talks about this? You put it on your YouTube channel,
Yep.
embed it on the page
Yep.
as a value add. Here's, an expert
Yep.
video about this.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, Jim, I'm going to spell this out. Okay. If you are not targeting the people who you want your money from the right way, you're going to fail right out of the gate. So you need to know, is this crowd the too long didn't read crowd? Okay, great. You better have a 2 bullet point summary right at the top, or you lose them immediately. And hey, the people who will read, they will happily take that summary and then read further. Oh, and hey, if you do it right, Google may actually take that and say, you're the authoritative answer on it. If people are more predisposed for a topic and as a generational cohort to consume on video, then yeah, you better have video embedded on your page, because you'll know this when you do the query and you see a bunch of video results, which happens a lot on mobile. If you're seeing that, then you have to say, I have to play in that sandbox. Like literally the consumer doesn't come to your sandbox. You go to their sandbox. And if you don't want to do video content, or you're not comfortable with it, or I'm sorry, no consumer cares about your excuses. The only thing they care about is their intent and the solution for their problem. That's it. So align, and you have to align vertically. So we're going to talk about content. We're going to talk about your topic. We're going to talk about product and service. We're going to talk about all of those things that are vertical alignment. Then you're going to talk about the horizontal, which is generational and cohorts. We're going to talk about millennials and Gen Z want to know that companies are socially conscious, that they are involved in their community. They want to know what the C-suite is, donating money to, and what causes they support, and political affiliations. And
how do you find your target markets? We've used tools like SparkToro before.
Man, look, so luckily for me, we have an entire team at Yext whose job is to focus in on these things. But as a B2B company, it's a lot easier, right? When you're looking for people in the FINS financial services group, it's relatively simple to understand who's in the category and who you would be talking to about a product or service. But when you're a business online selling direct to consumers, it gets a lot harder. You have to use all of the tools that are available. You have to do user testing on your website. Doing focus groups is a big thing. Having conversations with consumers, creating an advocacy board is a great way to do this, where if you have people that are common shoppers, they're power shoppers with you, invite them to come in once a quarter and sit down with them on a Zoom and just ask them what matters most to them. Bring these ideas to them, because all of the research is available freely across the internet. So you can find out that someone did a report and it shows that millennials value A, B, C, and D. And take that into your advisory board and say to them, look, you're a group of 25 people. Do any of these resonate with you? And you collate all of that information once a year. And that's your internal study where you're able to sit down and say, okay, now the A/B test we're going to do should include signals of social responsibility, or it should include signals of, value. And that's your A/B test. Okay. So, you should already know. And if you don't know, you can look it up easily. Like, where should you put a button on a page, and what color should it be? And that kind of stuff is easily defined and been tested, ad infinitum. We know generally the color and the placement. What you don't know is, are your users going to resonate against A or B? And you have to understand generationally what matters to people. And at some point, you have to also recognize, has your market shifted? Because for a lot of businesses, they don't need to worry about Gen Z, because they sell to baby boomers. And that's predominantly who buys their product. So as long as there's a baby boomer left kicking on earth, they'll be able to sell a product. Understanding that that generational cohort is dying off is going to, at some point in the future, reach an end state where those norms and those decisions and those ideas that they held important no longer influence purchasing decisions. And there's still a fair amount of time before businesses have to worry about that falling off the cliff. But if you're not looking into this now, it's going to be a real shock to you as you sit down and wonder why nobody is buying blue blockers anymore. Well, it's because nobody wants those sunglasses. And I think maybe Jim gets the reference, but I'm pretty sure Ann doesn't get the reference. And that's okay. And you definitely do not want blue blockers. No question about it. Jim and I won't even rock them. Let's be clear, right? I might have just been responsible for selling a half a dozen more pairs of blue blockers.
Marketers look around when your rankings go